Sugar so darn addictive? Well, it turns out the root of our global sugar addiction isn't just an inescapable sweet tooth. A new study suggests sugar can actually act as a stress reliever. Joining us now is registered dietitian and longevity nutritionist Ella Devar. Ella, it's great to see you.
Likewise, Gail.
So as Americans, we are eating too much sugar. How much are we eating?
Well, American Heart Association says that average American consumes over 17 teaspoons of sugar a day, whereas recommendations only 9 teaspoons for men and six teaspoons for women.
Okay, yeah, so we're way over. Now, some studies have suggested that sugar is just as addictive as a drug. We just had another study showing that people reach for it because it chemically calms you. So there seem to be, reasons that we're wired to want more sugar.
It does release endorphins and dopamine after we consume it, which gives us a surge of energy. And that's why a lot of people, when we're tired, work hard, or fatigued, they reach for the sugar just to give them that extra boost. And once this mental connection is formed between sugar consumption and health boosting energy, that's when addiction forms. And that's why so many people are addicted to it these days.
Okay, so let's talk about how we're getting sugar into our diets. I mean, obviously, we were just showing you video of sweets, and people are, going to get it in their coffee, the extra pumps of vanilla, all the things. You're asking for sugar, but there are sugars also hidden in foods that we might not realize just how much you have to do some serious label reading.
Yeah, most of us are not eating ice cream and cookies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? So most people don't realize the hidden sugar in our products that even health-conscious folks like me can mistaken for. Things like pasta sauce and ketchup often have added sugar. Yogurt, which I love recommending, but I always make sure to mention it's the plain probiotic yogurt that's good for us. Once it's flavored, it's very often high in added sugars. And then sports drinks, iced teas, granola bars, and instant oatmeal.
Okay, yeah, so that's the other thing. It is so hard because if you look at the front of a label, the advertising agencies do a brilliant job of making you think that you're reaching for a healthy bar. But something like this, an example that you brought in, you might as well be eating a candy bar.
Exactly. Yes, the granola bars, especially the ones that are covered with chocolate, is exactly as bad as candy, like you said.
And even ketchup, you said, that's another big one?
Yeah, so I teach my clients how to read the labels, and actually now there's a line that says added sugars, like you don't even have to look at the ingredients, the number is right there. Usually for products containing vegetables, it should be close to 0.
Okay, so if you're looking and you're doing some reading, you're saying the added sugar is right there on the label, and at what point are you looking for 0, or what should you be looking for?
Depends on the product. For example, tomatoes are naturally high in fructose, right? So it's not going to be 0, but most products like pasta sauce or even canned soups, they have added sugars for flavoring.
And it's in our oatmeal?
It is an instant oatmeal. That's why the best choice is this, the one that needs to be cooked for a long time.
So is it better, like you say, to get the plain yogurt, maybe sweeten it with fruit, and get, the slow oats and sweeten them with honey? Like, people are going to want their sugar taste. So how do you advise that we get it?
Definitely recommend adding berries, the naturally sweet fruits and berries, and then honey and maple syrup are my top recommendations for sweeteners.
It's okay to use that. Now let's talk beverages.
Okay, well, so many of American sports drinks have, again, like you said, an advertisement that says how great they are for electrolytes and energy boosting, but most of them have an obscene amount of sugar added and even artificial sugars, which are even worse.
Yeah, and let's talk about artificial sugars because, there's been a report showing that people that drink or use artificial sugars actually gain weight as well.
Yeah.
Why is that?
So high sugar, added sugar, natural occurring or artificial, both ruin our beneficial bacteria, which leads to dysbiosis, candida overgrowth, and leaky gut syndrome. Candida is a yeast that feeds off of sugars, and it leads to us feeling bloated, having fatigue, headaches, and an ability to perform throughout the day.
And you know, another source of sugar, and people aren't going to like this, but I noticed during dry January, and it was enough incentive to get me back on it. During dry January, and I kept going into February, I lost a lot of weight not drinking. I mean, there's so much sugar in alcohol.
Yes.
And so that's another hidden spot that we need to cut back on.
Yeah, that's the foundation of integrative nutrition approach that I preach, is a low intake of alcohol, sugar, and caffeine.
All right, and so what we're looking at here, I mean, you measured out, what exactly does this stand for?
Well, 1 teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams of sugar. So meaning whenever you see on the package that it has 8 or 12 grams of sugar, that means it's 2 or 3 teaspoons of sugar.
Wow.
And when you show this to someone, they're like, I can't believe this. A cup of yogurt can contain up to 30 grams of sugar, which is more than 8 teaspoons.
Oh, wait, all right, talk me through the math again. 1 teaspoon, which
is
is
4 grams.
Is 4 grams.
Yeah.
So that really kind of puts it in perspective when you
Absolutely.
when you show people that way, and then they look, because you're like, nah, 4 grams.
Yeah.
What could that possibly be?
That's
4 grams.
Exactly.
You double it, 8 grams. You still think you're in the win column, but it's 2 teaspoons of sugar.
Yep.
Because I started drinking those probiotic drinks that I just love so much, and they have, like, I thought, oh, what's 7 grams of sugar? That's a lot.
You just see, it's almost 2 teaspoons.
Yeah, all right. So all of these hidden ways that we are eating, folks, this is where it sneaks into your diet. We know when we reach for it, but sometimes we don't realize when we're reaching for it, right?
Absolutely. And it can happen to people like me. Remember last time I talked about omega-3, and I bought this beautiful glass jar herring. And as I tasted it, I was like, why is it so sweet? It had 12 grams of sugar added to it. You wouldn't think of canned fish.
No, you would never.
It happens to me, and I'm a dietitian.
If it happens to her, it's definitely going to happen to me. All right, Ella, thank you so much.